It's time for the draft, the matchup draft. It's a Thursday tradition in season. Kind of hard to do it not in season. All right, the first pick determined by the trivia question. And Christopher, here it is. The Giants are turning to Eli Manning again this week because Daniel Jones has a high ankle sprain. Eli's start will be exactly 1 year to the day of his last victory, December 9, 2018. Which NFC East team did he beat in that game? That's the question he gets. A 1 out of 3 guess. You give me frickin' Jim Turner, a kicker from the 70s the other day, and this is what he gets? Go ahead. Who was it?
The Washington Redskins. Chris was right.
I complained long enough for you to Google it.
Well, no, I mean, the Cowboys and the Eagles were in the playoffs last year. It was pretty easy to figure out.
All right,
Way
you
to
get
go,
the first
Stats.
pick. I object. I strenuously object.
You want the first pick? I'll give it to you. No, I won't. Forget
go ahead,
Forget it. The hell with
you.
Bill Belichick versus Andy Reid. That's the first one that I'm going to go with right there. That's the one I'm extremely excited to see that matchup right there. We've talked a little bit about, of course, what the Patriots did last year in the AFC Championship game. Really a defensive game plan and coverages that I've never seen anybody do in the history of the NFL. It was gutsy and smart and all of that. And now what will be the next move by both coaches? And, of course, Kansas City's offense has not been hitting on all cylinders as of late. Last week was the first time we saw the Patriots defense get torched a few times. And, there's some similarities here. Yeah, it's a big-armed quarterback with some really fast receivers at his disposal. And I'm intrigued by that matchup this Sunday.
Yeah, and look, we talked about it earlier. How will Andy Reid anticipate what Bill Belichick's going to do? How will they react on the fly to what they see? I think it's going to be a critical game of in-game adjustments, halftime adjustments, second-half adjustments to figure out how the Patriots are deploying. And also, defensively, what will Steve Spagnuolo and company do to try to continue the woes that the Patriots have suffered? Because last year the Patriots were able to put enough together late offensively to win the AFC Championship. This year, they don't have the answer, so it becomes even more important for the New England defense to try to shut down the Kansas City offense. All right, I'm taking a matchup that I blurted out earlier in the show, and I'm glad you didn't go there first. I am far more intrigued by Kyle Shanahan versus Sean Payton.
Yeah.
Because they are the two masters of coming up with the plays where you or I could throw the pass. The guy who is wide open, the play that blows wide open in the running game. We've seen it from Payton over the years. We've seen it from Shanahan a lot this year, and they are playing in perfect conditions, no weather to worry about in the Superdome.
Yep.
The 49ers will have their bodies adjusted. They stayed in Florida all week. No, this is a no excuses, high stakes game for the 49ers. The opportunity to try to put themselves in position to win the division, try to get the number 1 seed. The Saints currently hold the number 1 seed. This game, is, I think, even bigger than last week's 49ers-Ravens game. I think we were fascinated because it was a potential Super Bowl preview.
Yeah.
This is a far more significant game in the NFC as to who's going to have to play Wild Card Weekend, who's going to be on the road Wild Card Weekend because it could be the 49ers, and which team is going to end up with the number 1 seed. I think the winner of this game has a very good chance of being the number 1 seed. And if you're the Seahawks, right, who are you rooting for in this one?
Oh, well, I guess you're going to root for that's a good question. Who are you going to root for? I was going to say Saints right off the bat. I guess still the Saints, right? You just want the Saints out of there, so
no, you still have to beat the 49ers week 17. So knock the Saints out of the conversation. Make week 17 1 seed or 5 seed. Get the Saints out of there. I'm rooting for the 49ers if I'm a Seahawks fan because I know I still have to beat the 49ers week 17 or I'm not winning the division anyway.
Well, I'm trying to think right now. I mean, so what is the tiebreaker going to come down to as far as the Seahawks?
I think it because if the Seahawks lose week 17 and there's a tie, it may be like strength of victory.
Yeah, it's going to be because they both have lost
Yeah.
to the Ravens right now, and then you're right. It would be the loss to each other and another NFC opponent. So okay, yeah, you're right. That's a good question. I didn't even think about that. You're right. But I'm with you, Mike. It's a really awesome. They're both defenses that are really good. Both top 10 defenses. These two play callers and game plan designers are going to have to be at their best if they want their team to win. So I'm with you there. All right, I'm going to go to Baltimore Buffalo, a game that is kind of under the radar for one of the better games of the day on Sunday. And this is a Baltimore offense that's the number 2 offense in football. It's the Buffalo defense that's the number 3 defense in football. And the specific matchup I'm really kind of want to watch is Lamar Jackson versus Tremaine Edmonds and Matt Milano, the 2 middle linebackers for the Buffalo Bills. Without saying the front 7 versus, but where I find that intriguing is those 2 linebackers are one of the better linebacker duos in all of football. They're extremely athletic. They're great in the pass game. They're awesome sideline to sideline in the run game. The kind of athletes that could be a pain in the butt for Lamar Jackson when he does run on the outside. So I'm intrigued by that matchup altogether. Of course, Greg Roman and Sean McDermott and all that, but just that in alone, when those guys are spying Lamar Jackson, and then when he does get out on the edge, these are 2 linebackers that can run him down and have tremendous speed and can play that way, sideline to sideline. So I'm excited to see that.
See, I rarely have ever done this, and I'm reluctant to do it. But I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm never going to wait till next round to do it. I'm doing it now.
Yeah.
Because for a guy who, and we just started this segment with you complaining about Josh Allen not getting enough recognition. Why in the hell is your matchup not Lamar Jackson versus Josh Allen?
Well, because I think sometimes I know.
I don't want you to answer it. Let me finish.
Yeah.
Because we are searching for the next Peyton Manning, Tom Brady.
Right.
And what if once Tom Brady's gone, the Bills take over that division? And what if the Ravens are in the process of taking over the AFC North and will continue to do so for as long as Lamar Jackson is the starting quarterback? This could be the first matchup between these 2 guys that we could see every year. We could see it in the playoffs. I am fascinated by, because we've looked at the whole round robin, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, as we search for the next great quarterback rivalry. It could be staring right at us Sunday in Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. And shame on you for not putting Josh Allen in that mix with Lamar Jackson. You, the guy that's trying to bang the drum for Josh Allen.
Well, hey, listen, I can't argue with really anything you said. Sometimes what happens to me is I get too in the football weeds and I think about actual matchups, like when they're on the field. And you're better at looking at it that way. I don't always think of it that way because I'm always going like, who's going head to head? That's where my mind goes. So I'm sorry, but you're right. I mean, I don't even know if that pick should count for you, but okay. I just picked Lamar Jackson versus somebody, and you're going to piggyback off of it. But either way, you're right.
I picked the better matchup.
And, well, it's the sexier matchup because it's 2 quarterbacks, and Josh Allen has superstar traits. As we see every week, we see things where we go, whoa, that's Brett Favre type throw, and then it's, a really impressive run and scramble. So I get you. All right. So good pick by you. You're still a jerk, but good pick. I think I'm going to go to tonight. I think I'm just going to make it old, simple. Bears O-line versus Bears D-line versus the Cowboys O-line, all right? Because I look at it like this. I think that's where this game's going to be won or lost tonight. I think the Bears, their front, Khalil Mack, Leonard Floyd, one of them are going to have to make a play, whether that's a strip sack fumble, tip a pass in the air, hit Dak Prescott as he's throwing and the ball pops in the air. I don't think the Bears can win without that type of play. I really don't, because I don't think their offense will be able to move the ball consistently on Dallas's defense. I think that'll be a struggle, and I think they're going to have to rely on their defense to give them the short field at least one time tonight. And whether that's Khalil Mack or Roquan Smith or somebody like that making a play, that front 7 of the Bears is going to have to make a play tonight for them to pull out this victory against the Dallas Cowboys. And will Dallas smash mouth them with Ezekiel Elliott and do all that? That's intriguing to me.
Yeah, I agree with you. And look, this late in the season on a Thursday night, you never know what you're going to get, because in April it looks good. By December, it may not. And even though both teams are 6-6, a significant game tonight, and that's a significant matchup in it. I'm going to go to Sunday in the desert, a rematch of Super Bowl 43. That was the first Super Bowl I ever personally attended, the epic between the Cardinals and the Steelers. The Steelers desperately need this win, and they need to be able to control Kyler Murray. He was off the injury report completely on Wednesday, had a hamstring problem last week. He's fine. He's healthy. Kyler Murray against that Steelers front seven. How are they going to be able to corral this guy? Are they going to be able to corral him? Are they going to be able to keep up with him? Is he going to be able to get rid of the football and make quick decisions against a defense that will be as good as any he's ever seen? The Steelers need this win badly, but Murray has been, I don't want to say spectacular this year, but he's done enough to make me think that next year he's going to be the Lamar Jackson. He's going to be the guy that we talk about every week if they can get some help around him.
That's right.
And it took a year for Jackson to get to that point. It took a year for Mahomes to get to that point because he was on the bench all of his rookie season. But I feel like the next big thing next year is going to be Kyler Murray, and this is the biggest test yet for him. And it makes, even though the Cardinals are done, they're not giving up.
Of course
they're not folding the tents.
Right.
They didn't look great against the Rams. But I think that matchup, given the significance of the Steelers, can they solve Kyler Murray? It's going to be a major factor in whether or not the Steelers can get that 6th seed.
I would imagine that the Cardinals are going to be pissed off about their performance last week, too, which is more dangerous for Pittsburgh. But I'm with you with Kyler Murray. If they can just improve that offensive line a little bit, whether it's the draft or free agency, get him another weapon or two in the pass game. Yeah, I've seen enough this year to go, oh, he has a chance to be really special. Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, they got to take over teams that were playoff caliber type teams. They had a lot of the pieces in place. Arizona has a little more work to do to build some help around Kyler Murray.
All right, that's it for the Week 14 matchup draft. Simms has Andy Reid versus Bill Belichick, Lamar Jackson versus the Bills linebackers, the Cowboys O-line versus the Bears D-line. I've got Kyle Shanahan versus Sean Payton, Lamar Jackson versus Josh Allen.
Copyright infringement.
Please. No, it's not. Shut up. Cease and desist. The Steelers front seven versus Kyler Murray.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.